Welcome to A1R Psychic Radio. You're here on Moonstruck TV with Amanda Hall, psychic, all the way from the Gold Coast here in Australia. I thought we'd get into Halloween a little bit early this year. It's a fun time of the year, so let's decorate a week or so early before the big event. And for those of you that really sort of do follow the tradition of Halloween, it is about the veil being thinner. It's a time when we should respect the dead, where we should respect those that have gone before us. And at the same time, we can have a little bit of fun with trick or treating with the children of the area and things like that. It is slowly becoming more important here in Australia. I mean, each year it grows a little bit more, and I have more little visitors at the door each year, which I welcome. And it's lovely to see that people can sort of get dressed up and have a little bit of fun. I know the children don't see it as anything other than a bag of sweets, but, a candy that's okay. For us grown ups, it has a very different meaning where we do stop and we reflect and we think about those that we've lost and people that we may have even just lost in this last 12 months, and we remember them. So this week, the Simply Tarot card of the week is actually the Ten of Pentacles. Now, the Ten of Pentacles is a card where we can sort of look at monetary agreements, the signing of monetary agreements, and it's also more money contentment. So if for those of you that have been looking to have a little bit more money to come into your life, it is a really, really important time to make sure if you are signing a monetary agreement, that you really make sure that you read the fine print, that you fully understand what you're getting into. Now, this could be a work contract, it could be buying a house, buying a car, any sort of major purchase, even signing up for something that people take for granted, a credit card. You need to read the fine print and understand what your obligations are, what are the get out clauses, what are the penalty clauses? And this goes for everything, whether it's buying a new cell phone, a utility bill, or just something as simple as somebody asking you to sign your name on something. Make sure that you understand fully what you're signing up for, particularly this day and age where, things are written in not necessarily in plain, simple to easy to understand language. And we sometimes just get caught up in the excitement of being able to get a credit card or make that purchase that we've been longing to do for some time, that we don't take the time to read the fine print. But let's hope it's more about money contentment and money coming into us more this time of the year, when we're going to head into the very expensive time of the year where we do all need a little bit more money. So we're coming to the last couple of days of the sun being in Libra. So happy birthday for the late Librians. It's a really magical time of the year to me because it doesn't matter what your star sign is. It's about asking you to bring your life into balance. It's about asking you to seek the truth, look for answers in places that maybe you haven't looked before or weren't game to look at before. Sometimes I think we're our own worst enemy. Oh, no, I can't look at that. Or, no, that can't be right because I don't want it to be. But we know that that is the truth. That will bring our life into balance. But it's almost like we're sometimes too scared to go there, or it's not the right time or not the right fit for it. So make sure this last couple of days of Libra, anything that you need to bring into balance in your life, no matter what your star sign is, make sure that you do so. And again, happy birthday to the Librans. I have lots of Libra friends and family members, and they've been having a wow of a time, having a real party this year, so it's good. So we have Mercury, the planet of communication, is sitting in Scorpio. Now, Mercury is direct at the moment, so communication should be very clear. The reason I'm bringing it up, because when Mercury is in Scorpio, it's like people can have razor blades for breakfast sometimes. So sometimes communication can be very cutting, it can be very direct, it can be almost cruel. And you need to be aware of that they're trying to make a point. If somebody is going to the point where they're almost cruel or having razor blades for breakfast with their form of communication, they really have something important to say and they really want you to listen. They're trying to get your attention. So sometimes I think as human beings, we tend to sort of just switch off and think, oh, that's not really that important. But it is important to the person that's sharing it with us. So we need to make sure that we have our listening ears on, because there may be some very valuable nuggets that might come out of some of these conversations that we normally would have overlooked because we really were only half listening. So make sure that no matter what your star sign is, you've definitely got your listening ears on. For those Scorpios, this is the time if you've got to have that powerful conversation, whether it be with a boss or a loved one or a child or a family member or the next door neighbour, make sure you sugarcoat it a little bit. Don't go in there with all guns a-blazing and sort of having your razor blades for breakfast is great and to be sharp and to be very clear, but make sure you soften it up with a little bit of a sweetness as well. So we have Venus, the planet of love and affection, is sitting in Sagittarius. Now, this is amazing because Venus is what we look for in our lives to bring love or to bring happiness into our lives. And it's not always about bringing a new person into our lives. It can be the things that we love to do. Now, with Venus sitting here in Sag, it's a time when a lot of people are thinking about dusting their suitcases off and going for a little trip somewhere, even if it isn't possible. They might just do some armchair traveling, but they're seriously thinking about it. It's sort of like, oh, it'll be a great time to get away and see such and such, or do so and so, or go and visit the family, or visit some friends, or just take that well deserved holiday somewhere nice, preferably in the sun, I would imagine. But, not everybody likes to go for holidays in the sun. Some people like to go for a holiday in the snow. I personally prefer the sun, but that's everybody's personal preference. So if you're looking for love, it's the time to sort of, no matter what your star sign is to seek love in the outdoors. There's no point in sitting on the couch and saying love doesn't come to me. Love doesn't come to anybody that sits on the couch. Well, I suppose it might these days as you go swipe, swipe, swipe on an app. But if you really want to get out there and meet somebody in the flesh and want to start the opportunity of maybe getting to know someone or having a great friendship that might lead into a relationship, then you need to get up off the couch, get out in the open spaces, out in the outdoors. You don't necessarily have to take a trip, but some people will meet somebody on their little jaunt away that, sometimes we fall in love with somebody in a holiday romance and that's all it is. And sometimes it goes on to be something stronger. So we have Chiron, the planet, which is the wounded healer, is sitting in Aries at the moment. Now it's going retrograde or backwards until the end of the year. So if you are an Aries, please sit up and pay attention. And it's also affecting Leo, Sagittarius, and the opposite sign of Libra. But particularly for the Aries people, it's a time where it's asking you to heal. It's asking you to listen to your inner voice, to your dreams, to your thought patterns. It's not a time to swim against the tide. Many of you I know have been struggling with some major decisions that are being asked upon you at this point in time. And it's like you've been so stubborn and pig-headed and determined that the first thought that you had or the plan that you were on was correct. Instead, the universe is asking you to have another look, a second, third, fourth, 10th look, to make sure that this plan is still the right plan of action for you. For many of you, it will be time to make some modifications or some changes. Now, this is not seen as a sign of weakness. This is seen as a sign of I'm evolving and changing with plans as they have evolved and changed. What might have been right 12 months ago or 6 months ago or even 3 months ago may not be the correct path for me now. New information has come to light. I've got a different set of eyes looking over this. I'm modifying or adjusting my plans as I go along. For those of you that still stick stubbornly to something and you've been shown repeatedly, and I mean repeatedly, that you are on the wrong path or this is not the direction that you need to be going, there will be consequences. It will not work out the way that you want it to. You'll get there or get to your destination or make the move or change the job or whatever the case may be, and it'll blow up in your face. You'll have no one else to blame but yourself because you ignored the warning signs that were being given to you over a lengthy period of time. So if you are an Aries, please take note. Now we're going to move on to Uranus. It looks like I'm picking on everybody this week, but I'm not meaning to. Uranus is currently sitting in Taurus and it's going retrograde as well. We have a number of planets going retrograde at the moment. So what a retrograde planet means is that it means it's seemingly going backwards in our vision of how we see the universe. And it's not actually going backwards, but it's not actually taking the energy away from the planet either. In some cases, in a lot of cases, in my belief, it intensifies it. It brings it more to the forefront. It sort of says, hey, look at me, really take some attention here. Don't ignore what I've got to say. You can't just sort of shut your eyes and pretend it's not happening, because I will show you in full force what I want you to learn out of this retrograde phase. Now, as I said, Uranus is retrograde at the moment in Taurus, so that is affecting the earth signs, which is Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, and the opposite sign of Scorpio. It just washes over the other remaining signs in a very sort of gentle way. So everything that I've talked about, if I haven't mentioned your star sign, it's very gently washing over you as well. It does affect the whole 12 signs when a planet goes retrograde. So with Taurus here, Taurus can be stubborn, pig-headed, what's mine's mine, doesn't like change unless they instigate it. They're feeling as if they're being pushed and pulled in 1,000 different directions at the moment. Every time they think that they get on a path, something else happens, like out of the clear blue sky, the bolt of lightning, something else comes along and sort of tries to change that course. Now, Uranus here is asking you to be very, very flexible. He's also asking you to look very carefully at your personal finances. Finances might be up, down, all over the place at the moment. You don't seem to be able to handle budgeting at the moment. There always seems to be some unexpected expense or something taking you in another direction. This is exactly what Uranus is meant to be doing. It's meant to be shaking everything up, showing you that maybe for some of you there needs to be some massive changes in your life. Again, that you're being stubborn and pig-headed, digging your heels in and saying, I'm not doing this. And Uranus says, well, let's see. I'm the one with the bolt of lightning here. I'm the one that can make changes. And if you don't go with my energy, if you don't start to become more flexible and think outside the square, I will do it for you and you won't have a choice. At the moment, you still have a choice because Uranus is retrograde until January. I certainly wouldn't leave it much past the end of November because as he's starting to sort of move towards coming to the end of the retrograde, he's really going to ramp up the heat. So, it's much easier to work with Uranus and listen to what he's trying to say and look at your options and work through them. Don't sort of sit on the fence. That's the worst thing you can do. We also have Jupiter, the planet of luck and expansion, is also retrograde in Gemini until next February. So Jupiter is going to be affecting Geminis, Libra and Aquarius and the opposite sign of Sagittarius. It will still flow over to all the other signs. So just be aware of that. It's washing over each and every one of us. So Jupiter here is not necessarily limiting our potential or limiting our luck. What Jupiter is saying is, so stop, look and listen. Take a deep breath. What is it that you really want to achieve? The goals that you had before in areas that you wanted to expand your life or expand your job or whatever the case may be, the goalposts may be shifting. You may be looking at things and saying, well, that's not quite what I want anymore. That was what I wanted 6 months ago, but now I'm looking at a new path. So just remain flexible because Jupiter is saying, yes, the rewards can come. Make sure they're the rewards that you really want, that you're still on point, you're still on target. Jupiter's not delivering an outdated want or need that, we're up to the minute. So that's really important. Finally, we're going to talk about Pluto again. Pluto's only going to be sitting here in Capricorn until the November 15. Now, I can't stress strongly enough, this is the last time Pluto will be here for 224 years approximately. So we need to make sure each and every one of the star signs that we get the final bit of what Pluto is trying to do. Yes, Pluto is in Capricorn, so yes, he's affecting more of the earth signs, which is Capricorn, Virgo, and Taurus, of course, and the opposite sign of Cancer. So he's asking us to completely transform our lives. Now, most of us, and the remaining 8 signs, most of us have already pretty much done what Pluto has been asking of us in the last however many years he's been there, and it's been over 10 years. So we've been slowly working through this process. But he's asking us to have one last look around to make sure that we've dealt with everything. Now, this is interesting because at the moment there's lots of political cycles going on around the world. I know you have a major election in the US. We have one here locally for the state election on the weekend. And everybody's sort of talking 1 minute a party's going to win and then the next minute the other one's catching up or the other one's falling over or whatever. This is a typical Pluto cycle. And Pluto rules government. He's sort of showing you that sort of all the different facets of what Pluto can do. What if we go this way? What if we go that way? Have you thought about this? Have you thought about that? And there will be a lot of undecided voters or people that don't want to go and make the effort in voting. I can't stress, if it's not compulsory, it is really the important time to sort of have your say no matter where you live, because it's your country, it's your lawmakers, it's your decision making. You can't sit there and have a whinge fest afterwards and say, oh, well, I didn't want that result. Well, did you vote? No, I didn't. Well, then shut your mouth, because you need to sort of make sure that your vote counts. Here in Australia, it's compulsory. We don't have a choice. So, but I'm sure many other parts of the world, it's the same too. But make sure anything official in your lives, make sure you've tidied everything up, that there's nothing more that Pluto can slap you around the head with. And believe you me, Pluto will do it till the 15th of November or November 15, right till midnight. He will still have that power to wield his big stick and, whack you around the head, usually for another, week or two after that, but that's sort of technically the cutoff point. And I have worked through a Pluto in my chart many, many years ago, and I bragged about a couple of days before it that Pluto couldn't do anything. Now I was home and hosed. Well, I was very, very wrong. Pluto did do and showed me what the lesson was. So I speak from experience, and I don't want you to go through the same thing. So we're going to take our first caller, which is Liam in Middlesbrough in England. Are you there, Liam?
Hello.
Hello, Liam. Do you have a question I can answer for you?
Could I have a general reading, please?
I normally don't do a general reading because we have such a limited time, Liam. There's usually a reason that you phoned into the show. So is there something that I can directly answer for you?
Yeah.
Yes? Is there a question I can directly answer for you? Do you want to share that with us?
No, could I just get told could I just ask for a question, like, what's wrong?
Okay, all right. You don't seem to have a question that you can fire at me. The first thing that they're showing me, Liam, is there's a lot of endings, change and transformation coming up around you at the moment. And it seems to be that you've been in this slow process of building up for a massive change since about June. Is that how you've been feeling?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're showing me that it's not urgent yet, but I think we've got to start looking at areas of your life very, very consistently. Like look at one area. The first area is, are you happy with where you're living? Yes or no? And, we move from that to sort of if the answer is, yes, I am, but I'd like X, Y, Z, then we need to start working on that to sort of improve that so that we can start to feel more comfortable with where you're living. I felt there were some question marks over where you were living, yet I didn't feel it was the time to be contemplating a move just yet, Liam. I just sort of felt it was like, I feel a little bit uncomfortable here sometimes. Sometimes I feel very lonely. Is that how you've been feeling?
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah. And it's not necessarily, you get out of bed every day and feel miserable. There's just sometimes there where I feel this pang of loneliness where I'd like more people in my life or I'd like people that I could communicate with more. So do you struggle with sort of forming friendships, do you, Liam?
Yeah.
And is that because you are not sure whether people are going to like you? Is that the issue? Or is it nerves?
No.
Okay, so do you just get a little bit nervous around people, do you, Liam?
Not really, no.
So why do you think you struggle to sort of form friendships? Is there a particular reason?
No. Don't know.
Just haven't had the opportunity. Yeah, and it can be hard because, unless we meet people that have similar interests to us, it's really hard to just sort of form a friendship with a total stranger. You can't just walk up to somebody in a shopping mall and say, "Hi, I'm Liam. How would you like to be my friend?" People would be a bit, taken back by that. So, I do feel that there's going to be an increase in friendships over the next 12 months. So, are you still working, Liam? Because I felt that there was a little bit of a struggle around money.
No.
No, you're not still working, or no, there's no struggle around money?
No, I'm not working, no.
No. Have you been actively looking for a job?
Yeah.
And nothing's sort of materialised just yet?
No.
No, but I feel that there will be an opening in November for you. Look, I'm not saying it's the world's greatest job, but it's a step in the right direction where I feel that this job will start out to be casual and I actually feel it will lead into something of more permanent money with an opportunity there for some extra training, some extra learning on the job. And I actually think you'll really enjoy the work. I feel it's a combination of working with your hands as well as your mind. But I feel that the people that you'll be working with, Liam, are really nice. And I think there's going to be some nice friendships to be made out of the job as well. There's some really big opportunities that will come out of this beginning of a part-time job. So it's good. But anyway, Liam, that's where we're going to have to leave you today. I hope I've been of some help and you have a great day. Nice to talk with Liam all the way in the UK. We're going to talk to Heidi in Spanish Fork, Utah in USA. Are you there, Heidi?
Yes, I'm here. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome, sweetie. Do you have a question I can answer for you, Heidi?
I don't have a particular question. Just any insight that you can give me at this time would be wonderful.
Okay, that's fine, Heidi. I always ask because sometimes people have a real pressing question. Interesting, the first thing that they were showing me as I was connecting with you, Heidi, was a series of love hearts, and they were sort of going like across the screen, like they do sometimes with some of those social media things where somebody makes a comment and all these love hearts just go streaming up the screen. That's what I was seeing around you. So, is that an indication that you're looking to bring love into your life or more loving energy into your life, Heidi?
I mean, I do my very best to spread love. That is something that I do very often.
Oh,
Is
okay. All right. That
where
might be
the
why they were
hearts
showing
are
me that. Yeah,
hearts
and they
are
were just
on me.
showing me all these hearts. There was hundreds of them going up and down this, going up the screen in sort of like a wild succession. So I wasn't sure how to interpret that. I've never actually seen that as a message before. So that was really interesting. Um, they're also showing me for you too that there's been a lot of endings, change, or transformation this year. But to me, the concentration was more in between sort of March to June. It's sort of like now everything is sort of starting to settle down again now that I can take a couple of deep breaths and say, wow, I'm glad that's over. That was a really intense period. That was just sort of the precursor to what I think is coming in 2025. I think it's going to be a very, very busy year for you in 25. So are you looking to make some massive changes in 25?
I'm definitely looking to sort of like start what I actually want to be doing. Like I'm in the
Good.
process of making those changes right now.
Good, because they were showing me whatever happened between March and June, that was like a test run, to see how much you could cope with life throwing curved balls at you and having to change direction quickly or put something on hold and pick another set of, balls up and run with that. It was sort of like getting you ready for what's to come in 2025. I'm pleased to hear you say that you're going to, you're working towards things that have been in your mind that have been in your soul for some time now that you haven't really had the opportunity to sort of run with before, and that's your aim for next year. There's certainly going to be opportunities to bring those to fruition, but my one word of caution is that you need to be able to make sure that you can make very snap fast decisions. Like opportunities will come and there'll only be a very short window to say yes or no, I'm going to run with it or I'm not. So you're going to have to make sure over these next couple of months, and I know we're heading into the busy time of the year, making sure that you get enough rest, make sure that you feed yourself properly so that when we head into 2025, you can hit the ground running, you're feeling energized, you're well rested, you're ready to go, your thinking's clear, and you're able to go yes or no to an opportunity or a situation as it arises. So, one of these things that you want to bring in, will this sort of change the course and direction of how you earn money?
Yes.
That's what to me was the main focus. They kept showing me dollar signs and they kept showing me it's not unrealistic to think big. Yes, we've got to keep our feet on the ground and go with what's actually happening. But at the same time, you can allow yourself to think bigger than what's actually sort of happening. By doing that, I think you'll attract then sort of new ideas, new opportunities, new things because in this hand you've got this and this is what's going, but on the other hand, this is what I'd like to see happen. So we can bring a balance in of both. I think it's going to be a very exciting 2025. So, for now, I think you just need to take a couple of deep breaths, give yourself a little bit of a rest and write down your ideas. Make sure I'm saying write them down because I think it's going to cement them more into reality if we actually put pen to paper or type them up on your laptop or something like that. It's sort of it's strengthening it, not just being a thought in your thought process, that we've actually put it into something solid and that the universe is looking at that and saying, oh, this is what she wants. Okay, good, well, we'll help her with that. Have you also been getting some very strong dreams, Heidi?
Dreams. I've
Yeah.
had them all my life.
Yeah, but more so recently, like really intense, as if they're showing you what's ahead.
um, Not quite, but I'll expect them if that's
Yeah, because they're showing me a period of time. Look, it might only be 3 or 4 dreams, but it's sort of like watching a mini series. Tonight we watch part one, tomorrow we watch part two, and so on. it'll be shown to you in that sort of format, and it's showing you what could be possible with what you're trying to bring in. Now, while the dream's happening, I don't want you to pull it up and say, oh, but I wanted to go this way. No, just let it play out. And to the best of your ability, the next morning when you get up, either put it on your phone or write it down or something in bullet point form, what actually happened in the dream, what the colours were, and anything that's peculiar. Like if there was a pink cat with a purple bow, put that down. How did I feel? Did I feel excited? Did I feel anxious? Did I feel whatever? It may not make a lot of sense at that point, but the reason I'm suggesting to put it down in bullet point form, if you do that, you get the main points down. You can always go back and add to it later on when you've got a bit more time. But over time, this will become really important. It's like showing you the roadmap for how this is all going to unfold. But it's not necessarily in a way that it's 1, 2, 3. It's in a way that we have to sort of decipher this. So I know you're going to be hugely successful, Heidi. So rest up and get ready for next year, sweetie. I hope that's been of help.
That's perfect. Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
You're very, very welcome. We've now come to the end of the show. The half hour goes very quick each week. And it's always interesting as people are sort of making changes in their lives and, trying to expand things out, like Liam is trying to, get himself a job and make some new friends and sort of have a much fuller, richer life. And Heidi's doing the same thing, but in a different sort of way. She already knows what she wants to achieve. It's just now a matter of pulling all those pieces together and starting to make it happen. So it is a time of change. And as I spoke about in the astrology section, Jupiter is asking us, what is it that we really want? What is it that we really want to change in our lives? Make it happen. Sit down with your list. Lists aren't that outdated yet. Whether you put them on your cell phone or whether you put them in your laptop or your device, it's really important. This week I'm going to leave you with a very, very old song. And it's been one of my favourites for many, many years, like about 40 years. That's showing my age. It's Lionel Richie and the Commodores. And look, I think that they had some amazing hits, and they really wrote songs from the heart, and songs that, are timeless, that even today you could put them on the top 40 and people would still buy them. And the one I'm going to share with you this week is one of my ultimate favourites, and it's called Still. And when you listen to the words of the song Still, he's talking about he still loves this particular person, that there's nothing that they could do that would change that power of that love. And the answer is still. So until next week, I still love you all. We'll see you then. Bye for now.